Ooh, what's up, everybody? LAMBO here. It's going to be your first look at the Giants editor and kind of going through and breaking down what it all, close the door, run the boat, what all everything is, and just fill you in on a few modding details. I'm about ready to go fishing. I'm going to go out for like 2 weeks. When I come back, expect a bunch of modding tutorials I'm going to upload. It's good to be back. We're on the boat. Welcome, welcome. So here's what we're going to do. I got the Giants editor open. I have Notepad++ open. We're going to do a quick run through and kind of explain to you a couple things that you may not know. And I think starting off right off the bat, I've seen a lot of people asking questions. The first notice you'll get when you come in the editor is, what is albedo? And actually, let's pronounce this correctly here. I found it.
Albedo.
You hear that?
Albedo.
Albedo. And what it is albedo is the measure of the diffuse reflection of solar radiation out of the total solar radiation received by an astronomical body. Okay, so in other words, just use your normal material. You're okay. And then the color, they just changed the names a lot. Gloss is going to be your spectral map. Okay, and then you got smoothness. I haven't Googled that one yet. I haven't really played with it at all. Metalness is going to allow you to do chrome. You're going to insert your normal map and the bump depth, and you'll have your custom shaders that you can do here. So, and I have a couple of shaders I've been working on now that I have the game, and you can look at the shaders how they work. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with the shaders. That'll be coming. I hope you can hear me okay. There's a bunch of diesel engines running right now on the boat. So let's bump up the mod description here. And this is for the John Deere Gator. It's floating around. Everybody's got it. So everything looks pretty much the same. What you're going to have, mod description change here, up to 40. Honestly, this is pretty basic. And the reason why is they implemented a lot of stuff. And before we look at all that, I'm just going to fill you in on i3D mapping, how this works. So you have this node here, and we can zoom on in here so you can kind of really see it. You got this node here, and this works just like FS17, to where you still have to put where that is. So the player's right foot target, shadow focus box, indoor camera, all that stuff. All the game is doing is you're just mapping out a set of coordinates, and the game's just going to use that. This is something they do in coding. They'll assign a value to a name or a label, and you're just labeling parts. And so you can actually pull this back up later on. You can use that i3D name for your ID, but here's where you're actually attaching the node to it. So up here, you'll see all this link node right here, attention bells. Let's find something that's really going to show moving part. So these are all labeled now, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same. I wouldn't go around changing everything a whole lot, but you can create your own special ID nodes. So as we scroll up a little bit more here, everything is really close. They've added in some cylindered here, and I might be missing a few things, but when I get back, I'll give you guys more in depth. I'll just leave it just a little while, so I'm going to try to get this uploaded before we go. So I got cylindered, moving parts. I mean, it looks like that's all the cylindered moving parts, and so they got some sounds for it. There is no more need for like toggle animated parts anymore. You can just do that straight from the game. The game has implemented it. We will go up here and I'll show you like animations right here. So backdoor animation. Now if you want the doors to open or anything like that, it's all in here. What we are going to have to figure out is, what about our inputs? What is displayed on the screen? How to assign the buttons? And I'm going to be getting back to you guys on all that. I'm going to be figuring out a lot of this here. Pretty much all the same, except you're going to, I mean, your motor, there's really not much you got a transmission now. So, I mean, it relatively all looks the same. It looks like they've done a little bit of word changing. They've assigned different values, just like what I was just talking about down here with i3D mapping. They've just assigned different names and different values to things. And what we're going to do is go through and be like, okay, what's i3D mapping? So that is what it does this. And so once we figure out what those codes are, what those different IDs, what they mean, then that's where you start to get a handle on this. So we got wiper animations, backdoor, controls. You can see the animation name there, backdoor. So you're assigning the animation to the backdoor, and then you're basically creating the animation name. So when this does that, you could assign so many different. You could do animation after animation. So like when you move something, something else will move. Maybe you want to drop a chain. Whenever you hook up, you want chains to pop out on the trailer or whatnot. You can assign that animation in here. Way cool. They've integrated doing animations. See, so when it calls for backdoor anime, that part is going to do all that stuff. And if you look right here, when it calls for the wiper front animation, you can assign different part nodes to do different things at certain times. So it's going to go back and forth, and back and forth. Dashboard, this is another really cool thing. All the dashboards are going to light up now, and a lot of the lights and all that is all going to come integrated in with the game. So you still can make some custom lights, but Coronas are pretty much gone. For the most part, all the lighting is going to be, you're going to have to withdraw it from the game. What else we got here? It's like one motor, differentials. That for the most part looks pretty much the same as FS17. Consumer configuration, fill unit, fill type diesel, usages per hour, max loaded RPM. So that's it's obviously assigning when it's motorized now. So all this stuff is going to fall under like the motor and all that's going to, and the differentials are all going to fall under this motorized category. Just kind of looks like they're just making it a little bit simpler. And the cylinder, I feel like cylindered. Did that animations get ended? Yeah, it did. That's why if you guys don't have a Notepad++, download it. It makes it so much easier for trying to go through and learn this code. You got your fill units. For the most part, that all looks the same at first glance. This is all just at first glance, guys. Just trying to give you a little bit of a heads up on it. Character nodes, pretty much the same, except now instead of doing the 0-0 blah 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 whatever number, you're actually referring to the i3D mapping down below that you assign that node to. So player right foot target. Same thing with the nodes. Enter reference gator main component, and I'm sure that's created down here where you have to assign that node. There is no more using nodes. I'm going to try to use nodes and see if it works, just to see if it does. This might just be a new way to do it, and the old way still works, but this is just an extra way of inserting code in. You know what I mean? So don't get all discouraged by this, but I think it's way cool because you can do a lot more animations this way without Lua files and everything. Attacher joints, pretty much the same. It's looking like all the sounds as well. Like for the hydraulics, under cylindered, there was a sound, and under attacher joints, there's more sounds right here. And I'd assume default hydraulic sound. Let's go find that down here and see if it. Maybe see where's. But if it's in here, this is going to make it way easier and take way up. don't think they're. I think the reason why they're doing this i3D mapping is because they want you to be able to reach into the game file without having to have slash data, slash, all this crap until you actually get to your game folder. I think they're just trying to condense the packet down a little bit, like the amount of code that goes into it. They probably have a bunch of i3D mapping already listed out in the game. I'm going to dig into it and find it in the coding of the game. But they probably have a bunch of i3D mapping that when you go to look for these things, like this default hydraulic sound and attach 1, there's probably an attach 2 and attach 3, and there's, so they made this way simpler for modding, I'm not gonna lie. A little confusing on some things, but way simpler, I feel. It's way less code and way less file paths for you to mess up. And also, the wheels and all that, like, you go in there and you start going through, instead of having all the numbers, so you don't know which attacher joint in the old way in FS17, you don't know which attacher joint it really is, because you got all 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But now you can really basically break it down. Static lights and stuff like that. Looks like this is reaching back into the game for shader nodes. So all the lights are probably, this makes lights way easy. I know LAMBO really doesn't like doing lights, and so this should make his modding a little bit easier so he doesn't struggle with it. Light states are the same, light types, just basically steering looks all the same. Now, I know the wheels are different, so actually the wheels are in-game. I believe you can still add your own custom wheels, and we'll be learning that and recording it for you. But for the most part, everything I read on here, it's actually going to reach back into the game for the wheels, and then pull out the i3D and all the files it needs for that. Drive node, suspension travel, everything's pretty much the same. Trans ratios, they kind of took a lot of stuff off of it. Looks like they've simplified it a little bit. I just got to go through and play with stuff and figure out what these new. It does the same stuff, guys. Keep this in mind. If you know how to mod for FS17 and FS19, for the most part, this is all going to be the same thing. They just changed the name of the file paths and whatnot, and the different ID codes. So, going to be easy. I think people are going to be busting out modding tutorials faster than I can, just based off of how simple this is so far. Looks like they got a Sheem overlay, so they just made it way easy for Sheem. Default vehicle selected. They removed it out, that way you don't have to go through. They cut out a lot of code. That's what they're doing here, is they're cutting out a lot of code out of the mod. Because before, this was at least 4 lines, where, well, it's long, but, now it's really small. It's really simplistic. I just hope that we can actually mod these things, and them creating these mapping IDs don't make it to where we can't create our own i3D mappings. It should be interesting, because I feel that them changing this wasn't to make it easier for us to mod. I felt them changing this made it more controlled, to where they can control what mods are being made using the game. That's why you need the game to open up any of the GE. You can't open up any of the mods without the game and the file path put in there. It won't read it. It'll open it, but you won't see anything. You'll have all the stuff on the side, like the normal components and stuff, but none of the actual screen. You won't be able to see all the shaders and stuff. So components are the same size. Still file path. It looks like descriptions are still the same. This is kind of neat. I was noticing this here: shop rotation offset and shop translation offset. It's basically probably moving around a logo or certain information on there. We'll tinker around with that a little bit. It looks like instead of using DDS, they're using a PNG for the store image. And here we can pop our head inside the file really fast. And let's go look at the icon. And we will open up that with Paint. So the icon is a DDS. So let's look at, we want to look at our image size here. So it's a 256 by 256. That's what your icon needs to be for your store. Let's open back that up. Let's look at so there's an icon, and that's the little image that it shows when you're in the mod loading screen. And then the store one is, so it's a little bit bigger, and that's the one it shows when you go to purchase it. This one's not transparent. It actually has a background with it, and this one is transparent. So I recommend to do that just to make it look more professional if you're going to be making your own mods and stuff here. Let's look at this image size, get you guys all set up on your image size for this. So this image is going to be at best. So you can do images for the most part any size you kind of want. Sometimes, I don't know how picky this one is, but Giants is going to make these to where they're optimized, to where it's the fastest the game can run it. So 512 by 512 pixels is going to be probably your best choice for the store purchase image. Let's pop open a couple of the things here. Should be kind of, I'm somewhat noticing they're using a ton of, that's what I wanted, Gator visuals. So we'll go over here, we'll go cabin parts, right? So it looks like the gas pedal and all that is what's called dynamically loaded. Yeah, so the gas pedal and the brake pedal are what's called dynamically loaded. And what that means is the game's going to pull it out of its system and bring it up. So it's using assets that are within inside the game folder. And as we cruise down here, hopefully you guys are hearing me okay. It's really loud on this boat. It's going to be the same thing with the wiper too, I believe. Let's look and see if there's a wiper up here. Now, I want to load this up in game and actually alpha parts. No. Where's that? Sorry, I'm getting boring on you guys. So that's the whole body right there. Gator main, Gator visual. So there's no actual image attached to that. It's just I mean, we could anything change colors here. Yeah, so that just changes the colors for us. So don't get too confused when you're looking at this gator. All right, so we've opened up this, kind of dicked around a little bit. Now we've run into a peculiar situation here. And for one, it's this interior, okay? Zoom out a little bit. It's clearly there, not the steering wheel. The steering wheel is missing from the texture. But there is one cool little concept that I'm learning here that you're gonna run into, is it doesn't have a texture assigned to it. Therefore, it's pulling it from in the game. So I got a bunch of different colors right here, and I'm just going to assume that these are going to there we go. See how I changed the color of the seats right there? So this texture is actually assigned to this shader, which if we track down this shader here, oops, messed that one up. Okay, let's just hit reload. We went to color mask. I fucked it all up. So it lost all its properties, but it does have interesting. Open shader source. So we're looking at shader. It's got a color name, color map, scroll position, length, radius, type, flow, okay, color. So we're just checking out this shader really quick. Textures, M array, M diffused, specular. See, it is pulling textures right here. Right there. That's where it's pulling it from. So if you're curious where it's digging out this, where this actual file is, boom, right there for the Gator. So if you wanted to swap it out, you could totally change the default file name. So from now, how we're going to be doing this is it looks like it's going to be a bunch of custom XMLs. I mean, I could be wrong here, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty on point. That's the first time I've seen anything referenced to an image. I got a normal, diffused, and a detailed array. So mesh variation, I mean, we could probably go for a while in here. Base color, so this is everything that's inside of it. We're on color mask, right? I mean, there's the textures right there. All right, so let's open up the i3D. This is the i3D inside the text editor. Scroll down. It's got normal diffused in there. But that's why it's not working if you think you're needing it, because what it does is it has a normal map on it. So if we took the normal map off, gotta unclick it here. Took the normal map off, it took off just a little bit more detail. Okay, and now we'll take off the gloss map, and it'll be completely white. I don't think it'll have, yes. So what this is doing is there's certain parts of this UV map different. It's got a unique little UV map to it because stuff will change. Certain things. We'll keep playing around with this, guys, but this is like the first rundown. This is the first time I've opened up the mod or the game. But yeah, the graphics of this game are just marvelous. We'll still scroll up here and you can see that's turned on there. Need some chrome, man. I mean, the graphics are killer. Super excited. But it looks like we're getting into materials. Everything kind of looks the same there. Everything kind of looks the same there. I mean, there's not much. They changed a little bit, but not a whole lot, guys. I mean, car fillable. It's kind of interesting. But that's my rundown for my first look at FS19 and creating mods for it. If you guys like this, hit that like button, slap subscribe. Tell me exactly what you want me to dig out of everything that we went through here. What questions, comments, you concerns, hit share in all those Facebook groups. Let's get this information out there. Maybe this will help somebody else make another tutorial, and we can start cracking on this together as a team instead of trying to be individuals out there. LAMBO Mods is a group of people that work together to create mods for you and for our community and bring new models into the game. We're not competitive with anybody else. I don't care about any kind of competition, talking crap, anything. If you want to work with us, we want to work with you. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys when I get back with a bunch of new tutorials. Wish me luck out fishing, so I will see you later. Boom, boom, boom. Peace.
Do you feel the vibe?